In the summer of 1961, a 25-year-old Yoko Ono staged her first show in a rundown New York gallery. The electricity and the phone lines had all been cut off. The owner, George Maciunas, couldn't afford to pay the bills. They would form a lasting friendship, and she would go on to collaborate with him as part of the avant-garde Fluxus movement. Hi, I'm Jessie, and in this video I'll be talking about the work of artist Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono was born in Tokyo in 1933. Early on, she studied singing and performance, and it wasn't until she moved to New York in her 20s and met her first husband, the composer Toshi Ichiyanagi, and worked with other musicians like John Cage, did she finally find her niche. Inspired by the conceptual artist Alan Capro, who famously declared that art could and should just happen anywhere, she started to stage her own performances and invited other artists, musicians and some performers along to her Chamber Street apartment to come and watch and take part in. This interdisciplinary approach, and also the way she used to involve the audience, led to her being dubbed the High Priestess of Happenings. Her work often draws on ideas from Zen Buddhism and also the neo-Dadaism of the Fluxus movement. It's playful, it's radical, and sometimes it's just purely instructional without any material outcome. Like her book, Grapefruit, which has instructions for the reader like carry a bag of peas, leave a pea wherever you go. Inevitably, this idea of involving the audience to try and break down boundaries and the complete rejection of mainstream art led to her embracing politics and feminism in her work. One of her most famous pieces is called Cut Piece. She knelt on the stage, she had a pair of scissors, and she invited the audience to come and cut off pieces of her clothing however they wanted. On the one hand, she was referencing ideas from Buddhism and about giving up material possessions, but she also was making bold statements about gender, about identity, and also about sexual violence, because as she became more exposed, the audience seemed to become more aggressive with their cutting. Beetles, bed-ins, bags and bottoms would become quite a feature for Yoko Ono in the 1960s. Her own art and life would become entwined when she fell in love with and married John Lennon. Yoko and John spent their honeymoon in bed. They staged a bed-in for peace in a protest against the Vietnam War. Bed Peace was also a play on words of Yoko's earlier work and would help to tie John to her creative process. She would later say, "We were naive, but we wanted to change the world." In the late 60s, they exhibited at Jim Haynes' Arts Lab. It was held in a rundown Covent Garden warehouse. Arts Lab staged experimental happenings, film screenings and different performances. And it's where Yoko would go on to screen her censored anti-film, Bottoms. Now her work's exhibited at major galleries across the world like the Whitney, MoMA and Tate, and is often restaged and reenacted. And now, in her 80s, Yoko Ono shows no signs of slowing down.